7 seconds. Here we go. All right. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to give all honor, glory, and praises due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakanash. Again, I want to give double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who seek their students sincerely and also who rule well. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect that scattered four corners of the earth, which are you so-called Negroes, Latino, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, the true Israelites that's coming out the elect nation, the nation that the Lord is only dealing with, and that's the nation of Israel. All right. So, Brother Yawanathan coming from GMS Great Millstone, Detroit, coming back at you with another lesson. And I was at the workplace and praying just to do an edifying lesson in these days to come, because we see the tokens at hand. And what I want to get into was you basically once you get yourself straight, and what I mean that is when you get your reading in, knowing the scriptures front to back, knowing your breakdowns, so on and so forth for yourself. What are you doing for the outside? Are you keeping the Sabbath? And most importantly, are you doing accordingly when it comes to others? All right? Because when you orchestrate yourself and want to become that hopeful elect, there's things that you're supposed to be doing for others, and especially the brotherhood, okay? So it's more than just being self-righteous. It's more than just looking at yourself like, yeah, I got it together. But what are you doing for the body? All right? So I wrote some scriptures down, just to cue them up, just to be hot to the point and keep it simple, and Lord willing for the sincere sheep to get it. So let me get Romans 13. Slakia, now Romans, Hebrews 13. Because this is something that we have to do to make sure that we're good, when it come amongst, especially the brotherhood, So this is Hebrews 13 and 1, and it says, let brotherly love continue. All right, so let that brotherly love continue. All right. And that's really getting to the nitty-gritty, talking about your Israelite brothers, all right? From the 12 tribes, man, I can list, and it's beautiful that I can kind of list, well, not every 12, but, every brother in the group that I'm a part of. Like, one thing about me, I love to give. I like to give. Like, if I like it, I want to give to the next brother. Like me, I'm a big dude on colognes, oils and stuff. So I like to give gifts. You gotta love to give, and really that respect that you would give to the next brother. Especially in this congregation, because that comes a part of the walk. So if you see a brother like he's low on funds, give something to him. Because we're a body. If you see one part of the body that is lacking, say like, okay, you walk in and you see an ankle hurt, you gotta attend to it. So if you see a brother that's lacking in a certain part, from breakdowns, correct them, going off, rebuke them, so on and so forth. So that's what we gotta do in this congregation. It's just not all about you. Okay? Grab the book of First Peter's. And verse 8. It says, finally, be ye all of one mind, having one compassion, one of another, love as brethren, be pitiful, be courageous. Right. So we gotta be of one mind. And when I think about it, it's like, treat your brother like you would do Yahweh Shai. Now, to be deeply, because we got a lot of people out here that will try to, dissect dialogue. Yeah, we treat our brother as Yahweh Shai, but we don't worship him as Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai came, he was like, yo, I'm your fellow servant. There is no one righteous than me but the one that's in heaven, roughly paraphrasing. Yahweh Shai was, he kept it humble, he kept it lowly, until he fulfilled what he needed to do. But in other sense, the point is, treat your brother as if you would do Yahweh Shai. Now, when we look at the brothers, man, we all give honor and glory in Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Because what he done for us, he was that perfect example. He was the big brother. And when we look at, elders, our heads, our brothers that's over us, even brothers that's on the same and on the lower level that's coming into this true sincerity, we still treat them as if they were Yahweh Shai, man. If they need anything, we're going to give it to them because they're trying to seek the same salvation that we are. So what are we to discredit them for that? Try to take that away from them. They're trying as much as we are. The Lord gave us different talents. Not every brother is going to have the same talent as the next brother. But hey, as long as you can see that faith into the Lord, you can see it. Alright, so who are we to discredit us? So we're supposed to build and uplift them. And we're going to do that to us. Alright? So when you come in this walk, it's just more just to just be self-righteous and making sure you just got yourself together. What are you doing for the body? Are you helping the body? If one part is weak, are you helping that part? You see your brother that he have ailments. Are you helping him to help him get better? If you see your brother going through some financial struggles, are you helping him? All right. Let me grab this one, Sirach 12. This is Sirach 12. Let me start at 2. It says, do good to the godly man, and thou actually, let me start at 3, and then I'll read up. Hold on one second. Okay, yeah, I'm going to start at 3. And it says, there can no good come. Let me start over. This is Sirach 12 and verse 3. There can no good come to him that is always occupied in evil, nor to him that giveth no alms. All right. So it'll be times where, and this goes even for me, because when I came into this truth, you know, and I can keep it a buck. It was times that I was not doing what I was supposed to do. It was times where I didn't have a job. It was times where I was not being a man and not keeping in the, not saying keeping the buck, but not being a man and not keeping his responsibilities as a man, you know, to a T. Because when you're in this captivity, you're supposed to have a job, man. You're supposed to take care of your responsibilities. You're not supposed to be just slackful and just, you know, rely on brotherhood and just let them take care of you when you have the ability to do it yourself, especially if you're in good health. Okay? It says, nor to him that giveth no alms. So, you know, even if I was on a good terms, I'm not going to be good if I'm not charitable and helping the next brother, because we in this captivity. We live in Esau's kingdom, all right? So, you know, a brother car might bust a tire. A brother car might run out of gas, so on and so forth. Might be showing us rent. You're supposed to help that brother. You're supposed to help him get through, because you never know, you know. And like I said, giving alms can cover, you know. It says giving alms can, you know, hey, correct me on the scripture, but you know, giving alms can cover a multitude of sins. You know, so that's when you give alms and helping a brother, that can actually help cover you. You know, because you might not know. You doing these alms, you might helping a brother out. That might be the elect. All right, because we know the scriptures when it comes to Matthew. Let me get that real quick. When it tells you if you offend one of these little ones. Slakia. Get the other scripture, the other Bible. If you offend one of these little ones. Or if I'm paraphrasing, not to make it too long, but if you offend one of these little ones, you know, you might as well wrap around your neck and throw a millstone into the sea. You know, so do it in reverse. Imagine what you was do to help one of these little ones. The Lord, like you said, when you give a prophet a drink of water, you know, there's good things to happen to you that will, like, that can lead to your salvation, man. You know, it's a good thing to let, you know, empathy, sincere, righteous empathy, the good empathy, to look out for the next brother to flourish, you know, because, you know, this world is greedy. You know, a lot of people be all like, man, I work for this bag, such and so on and so forth. But if you just put your manners aside, be like, you know, I can sacrifice. His problems is way worse than mine. Hey, the Lord's writing that down. The Lord's recording that. It's like, yo, this is the prophet Timothy. This is the prophet Paul. This was, you know, the prophet Baruch, so on and so forth. The Lord gonna look out for you. You know, he has everything ordained, but the Lord was like, yo, you were the one that helped my prophet to sustain. Okay? So get back into Sirach 12th chapter. Let me go up. It says, verse 2. Sirach 12:2. It says, "Do good to the godly man, and thou shalt find a recompense, and not from him, yet from the Most High." So, you might have a brother, hey brother, you help me out. You know what? Something Lord bless me. Here you go. I can give you, sevenfold of what you gave me, and I'm humbly to give it to you. And if the brother couldn't give it to you, and knowing he was a sincere brother, he's still trying in the world. The Lord's recording that. Then it ain't gonna be from him. The Lord's gonna get you down the it might not be expediently. He's gonna be down the road. Okay. So, make sure you know how to conduct yourself amongst the brotherhood and amongst, people, even people. Shoot, these Edomites don't know exactly, they had a perpetual hatred, but some of these so-called white people might be jakes. That's why it tells us to be peaceably, if it be possible, be peaceful with all men. All right. Because I remember, now this was not a heathen or anything, and he might have been, but I doubt it. This is a testimony for me. Orchestrating to be peaceably, you have to know how to move. And I like to say this, once every, Sabbath, every 2 Sabbaths. It was a time where I went to the liquor store, just wanted to get me a drink, a strong drink, and instead of being just thinking with the rod, I was using wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. So this, she was an Issacharite to my recollection, and I'm looking, how sometimes the liquor stores have the mirrors and stuff, so I'm like, I see a dude. And as he was getting closer, I'm like, I approached him. I'm like, bro, not trying to be rude. Is that your woman real quick? He's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, my fault. Sorry. We like to say Salakia, but I was like, sorry, my fault. He was like, why? I'm like, because, she's, really pretty to look upon, but, I don't like to, step on the next man's toes. And he saw that I was coming in the spirit, like, he ain't trying to offend, he ain't trying to one-up him. He was like, bro, if he cut them dreads off and stuff, he could have been like, man. He gave me, he was like, thank you. And, I wanted to know why. He's like, because you don't know how many niggas, he's like, I don't know how many niggas I had to fight because of me being seen around her and dudes thinking impossibly, roughly paraphrasing when he was getting into it. And that's what the spirit I was feeling. And I was like, in my mind, the Wadi Al-Bashimi I was shot. And in that time, that rewarded me, because when it was my time to, get my drink, he came on, he was in front of the line, and he was like, hey, that man right there, put it on my tab. So he paid for my drink, and I was with another brother, and I was like, that shit probably how about you got shot, because, you don't want to be covenant or jealous or want to, envy the next man's brother. Is just making the next brother thinking, like, the point is, what I'm saying, you want to make a brother, feel, loved, supported, that brother that you can lean on, that brother you don't gotta look over your shoulders, because your brother got you, so on and so forth. If God can, Lord willing, that you get what I'm saying, but just that real support, like, if you down, my brother got you to lift you up. Okay? And then that's when, you have a lot of people in this world that be like, you'll give them a compliment, and they'll be like, man, stop riding. And I'm like, no, man, it's not riding. This is giving the just due credits of the next brother, you know? Giving them credit where it's due. But, you know, the point that I'm getting at is looking after your brother. Make sure you're condoning yourself correctly to the next person. You know, it's not just I'm in this alone. No, you have a body. If you see a brother that needs help reading, help him read. If you see a brother that needs help breaking things down and you know how to break it down, break it down. You know, you need brothers, and that's why we have the brotherhood. That's why we have councils. We're here to make you grow. We're here to make you better. And examples of Yahbashim Yahushai. Hey, that's why I give double honors to that's why I really expound on the double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone. Because I look at them and I'm like, yeah, we got two elders from the northern kingdom and 2 elders from the southern kingdom. Elder Apostle Jahar, Elder Apostle Gabar, Elder Apostle Aram Blob, Elder Apostle Gabar. Like, that's a perfect fit. Got the Negroes, the Latinos, and Hispanics, and the Native American Indians. All right, to help us, you know. But nevertheless, I'm gonna give all honor, glory, and praises due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. And again, double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone, who's teaching the truth and sincerity. You know, who also rule well. Peace and salutation to the whole folk. Like, I'm gonna close out, say shalom, you know, until the next lesson.